America's turning 250, and it's time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash, TicketBash.com. I don't know why I lost my head there for a second. TicketBash, it's been a long day, folks, so far already. TicketBash.com is the best site to go to for NFL playoff tickets and Super Bowl packages. You can use code HOLIDAY15 for a limited time for 15% off your order. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to the show. A happy Tuesday to all of you. 516-465-3990 is the number to call here on the show. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club Podcast, YouTube and Facebook, and also Sports Bash Media at YouTube, X, Twitter, TikTok, wherever we are. Make sure you're following along and subscribing. And you can also listen to the show on Apple Music, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We have lots to do here on the show today. It is a busy Tuesday, and that comes with the territory of doing a show here in New York. We have a lot going on. Later on, we're going to talk indoor football. In fact, the Indoor Football League getting ready for their 2026 season. There's a a game ball from the Indoor Football League. Their commissioner, Todd Tryon, is going to join us at around 1:20. We're going to talk about the preparations that are going on for the season, which starts in March. There's a couple of national TV deals to talk about. We may also break a little news during that interview. You'll have to stay tuned for that. That's coming up at around 1:20. We'll also have the usual suspects here on the show, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, what's hot at ticketbash.com, and the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. But of course, we now start with the Sports Bash Flash. It's presented by the Marty Lyons Foundation, granting wishes for more than 43 years. For more information, please visit martylyonsfoundation.org. Today's the day the Giants are introducing John Harbaugh to the media. I had a chance to watch the press conference a little while ago. We're going to hear a couple of clips in a few moments, but that press conference just ended a short time ago, and we're going to get to my thoughts on John Harbaugh in just a moment, and we're going to hear a couple of clips from the gathering of the media talking to John Harbaugh today. In case you missed it, and if you're under a rock or just totally out of touch with the sports world over the last 24 hours, you know that the college football playoff national championship game was last night. Indiana beat Miami 27-21. NBA, the Knicks lost to the Mavericks 114-97. The Knicks are on a major slide right now. They've lost 4 in a row, 9 of 11. Jalen Brunson, here's a positive note, was named the starter for the Eastern Conference All-Star team. The Nets lost to the Suns 126-117. I had to go to sleep early, so it's one of the rare times I did not see the Islander game last night. But it was nice when I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I did find out that the Islanders beat the Canucks 4-3, and a couple of more goals for Anthony Duclair, so he is riding the hot hand right now. The Rangers lost to the Ducks 5-3. The Devils beat the Flames 2-1 in overtime. Tonight, St. John's hosts Seton Hall. I'll be going to that game tonight, which will be stop number 3 on my trifecta of sports things today, working at WFAN this morning, here doing the show, and going to see St. John's and Seton Hall at the Garden tonight. By the way, it is Keegan Bradley bobblehead night. In case you didn't know, Keegan Bradley, the golf star, went to St. John's. So they have this series of bobblehead dolls that they give out for Legends of St. John's. And tonight the bobblehead doll is Keegan Bradley. So we're going to go to the game tonight. And hopefully we're one of the first three, me and my 2 sons, Bradley and Jared. Hopefully we're 3 of the first 5,000 people in the door tonight, so we can get that bobblehead and add it to the collection in the Schwartz household. Also tonight, the Rangers are in Los Angeles. The Devils are in Edmonton. And the Long Island Ducks making a little bit of news today, bringing back catcher Ronaldo Flores. Last year for the Ducks, he hit .341 with 12 home runs and 41 RBI. And it is never too early to think about Ducks baseball, because even though there's still some snow on the ground, and it's freaking cold outside. So any news of baseball will warm the cockles of your heart. So especially for the Ducks here on Long Island, we look forward to their 2026 season getting underway in April. As I mentioned before, today's a big day for the Giants and their fans. We found out over the weekend. And this is why, social media is great. It could also be a septic tank. And just total crap it could be sometimes, because the way social media was designed, it was designed for people to communicate with each other. It was designed for people to express their feelings. It was designed for reporters to break news, a bunch of different things. It wasn't contrived to, developed, for people to be nasty to each other, which obviously you see a lot of it on social media. But this whole Giants John Harbaugh story, it took a life of its own in the last week or so after the Giants interviewed him and word broke that the Giants had reached an agreement. And then they had to hammer out the agreement. And then we started to see people speculating on social media, oh, well, maybe there's a problem. I mean, they basically had agreed to it. At that point, they'd gotten so deep into it, even though The Athletic reports that as of Saturday morning, John Harbaugh reached out to the Titans. I personally, and again, I don't have a dog in the fight, I never thought for one second, once the news broke that they were working towards the agreement. I never thought for 1 second that Harbaugh was not going to be the Giants head coach. And it became official on Saturday. And everybody who was in Giant land took a deep sigh of breath and a sigh of relief. And he is the new Giants head coach. And he was introduced at a press conference today. It started at 12 o'clock and it wrapped up. I walk in here about 12:35 or so. Mm-hmm. It was right before 12, right around 12:30. Harbaugh finished answering questions, and we're going to hear a couple of clips. But before we do that, and I said this on the show before, this was the only choice for the Giants. Now, again, if he said no, then they had to go in a different direction. They might have gone towards Kevin Stefanski. They might have gone towards another maybe an assistant coach, a hot assistant around the NFL. They could have gone to Mike McCarthy, but once John Harbaugh was fired by the Ravens, this had to be the choice for the Giants, and they had to do whatever it took to get him there. Now, obviously, you've got that that dynamic of him now having to work with general manager Joe Schoen. And if you saw the videos online last night of Harbaugh arriving at the Giants complex and they're all smiles and everything, and Joe Schoen is smiling and everything, and he's got to really be thanking his lucky stars that he still has a job with the Giants. And they were talking nice things today during the press conference. Oh, can't wait to work together, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But you know now that the czar of the Giants is now John Harbaugh. And what he wants, he is going to get. And Joe Schoen, and look, they could say till the cows come home that they're going to work together and be nice and all that stuff. This is John Harbaugh's team right now. No question about it. And if you heard the press conference at all earlier today and you heard the way he speaks, look, I didn't need to hear that press conference today to know about it. I've heard him talk as the Ravens head coach for 18 years. We know what this guy is all about. He's very detail-oriented. The players love him. He wants his players to work hard, lift the weights, and do all the things you need. And if you're a Giants fan and you heard that press conference today, how you cannot legitimately feel good? As a Jet fan, I heard Aaron Glenn's press conference, and you're talking all that stuff like that, but it doesn't mean it when it comes from someone who's never been a head coach before. But when you've got a guy like John Harbaugh who has won a Super Bowl, who has been to the playoffs a bunch of times, who has won division titles, even though it's only one Super Bowl, I mean, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. The Giants franchise changed on Saturday when it was officially announced. And now that he's in the building and his nameplate's on his office, this is a whole new game. And it was funny because this morning on the warm-up show, because when I do updates on Boomer and Geo, I co-host the warm-up show with Al Dukes, and we had a little thing going back and forth this morning, going through the Giant opponents, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I think the Giants could win, 7, 8, maybe 9 games. And he was telling me, they'll win 10. They'll win 10 or 11. Like, that's a big step up for the Giants from 4 wins. John Harbaugh's a good coach. And the Giants will definitely, I could sit here right now, and my name is not Joe Namath, but when I guarantee something, I'm pretty sure that the Giants are going to win more than 4 games next year. If you look at their schedule, the Giants are going to win more than 4 games. How many more? We'll find out. The Giants will be better. They will get acquisitions that he will want. Will they win 10 games? Look, if everything breaks the right way, I guess anything is possible. Look, if things broke the right way for any team, you can go from 3 or 4 wins to 9 or 10 wins. It's happened before. But I think the Giants just have to feel better now that they've got a real coach in place in John Harbaugh. Let's get to a couple of clips from the press conference today. One question he was asked, and I believe this was Bruce Beck from Channel 4 asked him this question. He was asked about, Bruce Beck asked John Harbaugh about developing the culture with the Giants and how long it will take for the Giants to become a winner.
That's the second part's impossible to say, but I'm planning on day one. So that's what we'll be shooting for. That's what we'll be working for, and fully expect it to happen. You build anything together. You build it from the inside out. It's going to be a reflection. Culture is kind of a crazy word. What does it really mean? It's a worldview. It's a shared understanding. It's a vision. It's everybody being on the same page. It's talking the same language, all these kind of things, same values, same type of beliefs, right? Okay, that's like a social studies class maybe we're talking here. So what is it in football? It's a bunch of guys that see the game the same way. It's a bunch of guys that want to play the game together the same way. It's a relentless brotherhood, having each other's back, being unwilling to give up because that guy next to you is unwilling to give up. You know, all these things that these guys believe in. We'll decide what the culture looks like together every single day by what we do together, all right? And that's how you build it together.
Look, in sports, it is all about culture, and it is all about everybody working together to share a common thread. And this guy is going to command that locker room. He is going to command that whole building. The Giants franchise changed today, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this was, you cannot put a price tag, and I'm sure he's making a few bucks to do this, right? But you cannot put a price tag on what this man is going to mean to the New York Football Giants. Now, one of the reasons why the Giants' job was attractive to him, obviously the tradition, the history, and I talked about this last week on the show, but also when you're a coach of his stature and his caliber, and you're picking another team to go to, the easiest thing to do is to go to a team that you think has pieces in place to win. And that most important piece, Tony Walker, my producer and the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show from 11 to 12:30 weekdays, what is the most important position on a football team?
Quarterback.
Thank you very much. You're excellent. Excellent. You've been following along to the show over the last couple of years. The most important position on an NFL team or any football team is the quarterback. And the Giants drafted a quarterback last year, Jackson Dart, and now John Harbaugh gets to work with him.
It starts with the quarterback for sure. I mean, the quarterback has got to, you build your team around your quarterback. I mean, you build your team around your players and what they do well. And I like the way he plays. I mean, I like his talent, skill set, all the things he's accomplished. But more than that, I like who he is and what he's about. And to me, he's about football. I mean, this young guy loves football. He wants to talk football all the time, and and that's kind of what I like doing too. So I think we're gonna have a lot of great conversations. And I can't wait to get started with him.
That's going to be a marriage made in heaven. John Harbaugh as head coach, Jackson Dart running that offense. If you're a Giant fan and you're not smiling today, there's something wrong with you. Because I'd love to be in your shoes. Because I have nothing really to smile about when it comes to the Jets. Just, whatever. But if you're the Giants, and this was a great day to be a Giants fan. Before we go to a break, I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute to talk about somebody very, very important to the New York sports landscape, soccer landscape, and really for soccer in the United States. He's a person who really meant a lot to me a few years ago, and he passed away on Friday. And Rocco Commisso, who was the owner of the team in Italy, Fiorentina, but he is also the former owner of the New York Cosmos. And what he did for the Cosmos a number of years ago should never be forgotten. And of course, if you're someone like myself and you grew up with the original Cosmos, you kind of feel, what I'm thinking here as well. The Cosmos, of course, went away after the 1984 season. They came back almost 3 decades later in 2013, playing in a brand new North American Soccer League. And I was very fortunate in 2013 to be named the public address announcer for the new Cosmos when they went to go play at Hofstra Stadium. And the Cosmos won the championship in 2013, 2015, and 2016. Now, on the road to winning that third modern era NASL title in 2016, people who didn't work for the team, that didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, thought, oh, the Cosmos are just marching into another championship. Everybody in the organization is happy. No problem. There were a lot of problems in 2016. And a lot of them had to do with money. The Cosmos had none left. And as the season progressed into the playoffs, the players weren't getting paid, the coaches weren't getting paid, and the staff wasn't getting paid. Yet somehow the team was able to get through all of that and make it to a championship game, and Hofstra wasn't available, so the championship game was played at St. John's, and the Cosmos won another title. As we got into the offseason, there was a serious thought that the Cosmos were going to fold. We weren't getting our last couple of paychecks. There was a serious problem. Well, Rocco Commisso saved the Cosmos. He loved soccer. He moved to the United States with his family from Italy when he was 12 years old. He wound up going to Colombia, played soccer. The soccer stadium in Colombia is named after him because he paid for it. He loved U.S. soccer and always battled with U.S. soccer on how to run things, and always wondered why we didn't get better as a country playing soccer. But for me personally, what he did in saving the team in 2017 will always mean a lot to me and anybody who worked for the Cosmos back then. And last year, he was still the owner of the Cosmos brand, and he sold the Cosmos to the new ownership group that is bringing the Cosmos back in 2026 in New Jersey, and that season will start in March. So deepest condolences to the family of Rocco Camiso. I believe he was 72 years old when he passed away the other day, apparently after a lengthy illness. Again, deepest condolences to his family, his friends, to Fiorentina in Italy, to anybody who was associated with the Cosmos in the past, and certainly in the present as they get ready to go back on the pitch in March. He will be missed. He was so important for soccer in this country, in Italy, and I hope the Cosmos, and I'm sure I don't have to tell them what to do, but I hope that they do wear something on their jersey this year, whether it's an RC or some sort of black patch. I think that would be appropriate. Very, very sad to hear that news over the weekend that Rocco had passed away. And again, deepest sympathies go out to his family. When we come back, we're going to talk about the preparations that are in store now for the start of the 2026 Indoor Football League season. We're going to talk to the commissioner of the IFL, Todd Tryon, when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit at 516-465-3990. The 2026 Indoor Football League season is scheduled to kick off on March 14th. I have in my hand an official game ball of the Indoor Football League, and we are very, very happy to welcome to the program the commissioner of the IFL, Todd Tryon. Todd, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter, outstanding. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Thank you so much for joining us. The 2026 season is right around the corner. How excited are you and everybody else with the league to get this season underway with all the exciting things that are going on?
You know, I call it's controlled chaos. It's kind of what's going on behind the scenes right now. We make it look seamless, but it's not. We're working 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. and it's going to be here before we know it.
No question about it. And with this season comes a really cool thing, and those are two unbelievably terrific national television deals. One is with Yahoo Sports, the other with FanDuel. And for your league, which has been around since 2009, the longest running indoor football league going continuously since 2009, what does it mean to the IFL to have these two broadcast deals in place and get your league more exposure around the country?
You know, it's huge. Our mission as a league is to create a platform for whether you're a coach, a player, a cheerleader, a broadcaster, it doesn't matter. Use the platform to build your brand and advance your life. And we just gave everybody, a much bigger stage to do that from. And, at 18 years, it's taken us a minute to get here, but it's been a strategic approach, and we're excited for what's to come.
On the subject of those TV deals, I thought it'd be appropriate maybe if you and I broke a little news on the show today regarding those deals, because I could not be happier to be part of the broadcast team this year, doing some games play-by-play. And, the 50-yard game has been so important to me and such a passion in my life to get back to being able to broadcast some games this year for the IFL. I'm excited, and I just wanted to share that with you, my excitement about being part of the broadcast team this year.
I saw your name come through on a DocuSign, and yeah, absolutely. When we can recruit talent like you guys to do our games, we're headed in the right direction.
There's no question about it. And on the subject of the longevity of the IFL, there have been so many leagues that have come and gone. For you, as the commissioner of the IFL, what has been the secret sauce? Why has the IFL been the longest running indoor league, 50-yard league in the United States?
Well, I would say, as of now, it's great ownership. I mean, we stabilized in 2021, and since then, I feel like we've really been heading in the right direction. Before that, it was a lot of teams in, teams out, and the landscape in the industry was just. It was questionable at best. And, at the end of the day, when you're trying to build anything, everything rises and falls on leadership. And I think we've got great ownership with some great leaders in place. And, that's why we continue to excel.
We're talking to Todd Tryon, the commissioner of the Indoor Football League. The 2026 IFL season will kick off on March 14th. And among those teams that are in your league are two teams that have historic names when it comes to the 50-yard game, and that would be the Arizona Rattlers, who have won a million championships. You got the Iowa Barnstormers, and when people think of the Iowa Barnstormers, they think of Kurt Warner, being discovered by them, stocking shelves in Iowa. So you have those two franchises, but you also have a number of franchises around the league that maybe people who are familiar with the 50-yard game may not recognize right off the bat, but they've got some pretty good history as well. So you have to feel fortunate that within your league you've got the Arizonas and the Iowas of the world, but you've got some other teams in the league that have done a pretty good job so far.
We do. I mean, don't forget the Jacksonville Sharks.
Yes.
They were a big name back in the day, and the Green Bay Blizzard and the Quad City Steamwheelers. And, I don't want to name them off because I'll leave some out. But, we've got some teams that's got some pretty good history. And we've got some teams that, they've got some great ownership groups that went out and got some coaches that have got some great history. And so it just seems like the good people have migrated to the IFL, and that's what's allowed ourselves to sustain.
When you have a league, and I guess this has kind of been a problem for other leagues, and not just in indoor football, but in other sports, when you have a league, you have to have everybody on the same page. You talked about stability before. When you look at your league, it sure seems to me, and anybody who follows the sport, that everybody is on the same page, and that's why the league has been successful, right?
You do. You have to have everybody rowing in the same direction. And, if somebody's not, then you've got to figure out, hey, either we've got to coach you up or get rid of you. That's really what it comes down to. And sometimes there's some tough choices that you have to make, in a leadership position. But, these ownerships, they've done a great job of allowing myself to run the league, recruit good people, and, why they sit there and take care of their own product. Because at the end of the day, they're pretty similar in what we do. But, I need them to sell tickets and sponsorships. And they need me to kind of do the same thing.
You've done it all in the sport. You've played, you've coached, you've owned. Now you're the commissioner. What's been the most enjoyable part of this role for you compared to the other roles you've had? Because you've had a lot of success. You've got a lot of championship rings in your other roles, and now you're running the whole show. How enjoyable is this compared to what you've done in the past?
There's a lot of similarities to you're out there, trying to surround yourself with good partners, and at some point here that's going to stop, and you're going to put your product on. But I'd say the most enjoyable thing is the opportunity to continue to deal with. I'd say we're a platform to advance your life, and so to be able to use that platform and see an official, coach or officiate in a big game, or see a coach, move on with his life, or see a player move on with their life. I'd say it's pretty rewarding being on this side, seeing how many players have signed CFL, signed UFL. It's just, it just goes to show that this is a platform that works.
You talked before about partners, and one special partner for the league certainly is Adidas, your official uniform partner. When you're an indoor football league and you are trying to get notoriety, and you've done a great job with that so far, but when you could partner with a company like Adidas, I mean, what does that say for what your league is all about, that Adidas would want to be a partner?
It's something that it was about 3 years ago. We're like, hey, listen, to get on a national stage, there are steps we need to take. And one of the steps was, everybody's got to upgrade their field system, and everybody's got to upgrade their dasher pad system and the way that things are looking. But another piece of that was the uniform side of things. At that time, everybody's kind of on their own, do what you want. We're like, no, we've got to partner with a well-known, respected brand, and everybody's going to look the same. I mean, we got strict uniform codes that you have to follow. But yeah, when you partner with people like Adidas, I think last night, watching that championship game, both of those teams had Adidas on. So it shows that we partnered with the right brand.
It's funny that you brought that up. I was going to bring it up a little bit later when you talk about finding talent for the league, when teams are looking for players, and obviously the top of the line players in college football are going to eventually make their way to the NFL. But for you as a commissioner, for the other owners and coaches, how much attention do you pay to the entire college football season? Because not everybody gets to make it to the NFL, not everybody gets to make it to the UFL. So when you look at these games, do you look, even though it's on the 100-yard field, is there a way to see that guy could be a 50-yard player? That guy can play in the indoor football league. Do you see that during the college season?
Usually it's a year later. Usually these kids that are just getting done now, a lot of them are completing school, which gets done in May. Our season starts in March. Or they're trying to get into some NFL camps, so they're doing their NFL testing and all that type of stuff. And so usually it's the following year that you'll catch on to one of these players that you're sitting here, watching on Saturdays.
We're talking to Todd Tryon. He is the commissioner of the Indoor Football League. The 2026 season gets underway on March 14th. I can't help but notice, Todd, your background behind you, and above you says the indoor war. And war has always been a term that has been used when it comes to the 50-yard game. And I'm so glad that you have adopted that phrase, because when you think about the history of the 50-yard game, it really has been a war, because it is a highly skilled game. It's a physical game. Why do you still want to use the term indoor war? I think it's the right thing to do. What was the league's perception on using that term?
Each year we're kind of leaning into it a little more. It was kind of ironic. I think it was 21, if my is either 21 or 22. We had this big campaign where we were launching the indoor war. I mean, we trademarked everything, and the morning of our launch. Okay, so the launch was at 9 a.m. and at 8:45, all over the news was Russia was going into Ukraine and starting this big war, and it was a big deal at that time, and it was a delicate topic, and had to make the decision. And I ended up pulling the whole marketing campaign. It was our entire campaign for the year, and we put that on the back burner, waited a year or two, and then we reintroduced it a couple years ago through a song, and then now each year we're leaning a little bit more into it, and hey, now we're owning it.
We're talking to Todd Tryon, the commissioner of the Indoor Football League, here on Sports Bash, as the 2026 season is right around the corner. The 50-yard game has obviously grown over the years. When you look at the sport in general, is it mind-boggling to you how the sport has evolved? Because when it first started, it was all about offense. I mean, people would talk about indoor football, and it's like, oh, they're going to score 60, 70, 80, sometimes 90 points, in a game. But obviously then the defense, would catch up with the offense. And now it's become such a highly skilled game on both sides of the ball. How impressed have you been with the involvement of indoor football?
I think like anything you're dealing with, just the athlete in general, everything gets better. And I think we see that the athletes getting better, they're getting faster, they're getting smarter. And, it's funny you bring up, in 2000, when our rules were adopted, every rule that was in our rule book was designed, it was restricting the defense for what they can do. And over last year and now going into this year, we have done a great job of absolutely stripping our entire rule set to make it so it is just about identical to the college football game for a couple reasons. One is as we bring in new officials, it's tough for them to call because of all these illegal defenses and what you can and can't do. As you're bringing in new players, they're coming in, on Monday expected to play on Saturday, and they got all these goofy things that they got to learn. So we've done a great job now of stripping it down because just the offensive game in general has accelerated to where you don't need to give them any restrictions to score points, and it's easier for the consumer to sit and watch as you're watching the game. You don't have some goofy illegal defense being called.
Throughout the course of the history of the sport, there's always been this back and forth of, when you get to the championship game, should it be played at the home of the higher seed? Should it be a neutral site? Other leagues have tried it both ways. You have now reached an agreement in Arizona. You're going to have the championship game neutral site there. I think last year was the first year of the deal. You're going to have it for 2 more years. Tell us about that arrangement, having a destination now for all of the fans around the indoor football league to know that just like the Super Bowl, when you get to the championship game in the IFL, everybody can make plans at the beginning of the season. They know where the championship game is going to be.
Yeah, it was a very unpopular decision when it was made, and we went 3 years in Vegas, which was very successful. And now we're in our second year in Tucson, and kind of the big reason behind it is when you're putting on a game, when you're hosting a game, and we were lucky enough in Sioux Falls, we hosted about 7 championship games.
Yeah.
You only get a week. You only get a week to sit here and put on this event. So if you're expecting all the owners to come and you're expecting the coaches to come and you're throwing, a party for this and owners meeting for that, you can't do that with a week heads up. And so as we continue to build our brand and attract, national partners and things like that, it's vital to be at a neutral site. So you've got plenty of time to sit here and plan it out, build it out, get the events ready. And, that's ultimately why we went to a neutral site.
I have to tell you, every day I go on social media and I'm seeing, this team is making this signing, that team is making that signing. I got a lot of work to do to start, to learn some of the players before my first games of the year. But obviously, a lot of teams are getting ready for training camp. What's the timeline like now for the league? When do the camps start, and when do the franchises really start getting things revved up to prepare for March?
We have our annual owners meeting February 16th and 17th, and that's when things are really getting real. And every team is allowed 14 days. It's all they get, 14 days of training camp to get ready.
I'm sure the coaches love that, Todd. I mean, they would probably like a little bit more, right?
The coaches, yes, absolutely. But from an ownership perspective,
Yeah.
You get 40 players that come in, 25 make the cut. So that means 15 of them or they've got a week to try and make the team. And so most of them, it's like a March 1. As you said, the opener's March 14th. So that one's a February 27th opening camp. But it's right around that March 1, depending on when your first home or your first game is.
I bring this up selfishly because my first 2 games that I believe I'll be doing are April 5th and April 12th, and they'll be in Orlando. And that's actually the reason why one of the reasons I brought the football. This is a Massachusetts Pirates game ball that I was able to get my hands on. But now the Massachusetts Pirates are in Orlando as the Orlando Pirates, so it's got to be pretty exciting. Orlando has historically been a terrific market for indoor football. What does it mean for you to have the Pirates in Orlando and to see that team in a beautiful arena there in the Kia Center?
It was a great move for multiple reasons. Number one, we're up there in the northeast corner, and Boston, Massachusetts is a tough place for teams to get in and out of. I know it's a tough place to market. The teams are the ones who've owned the team up there, and I know they've stuck a ton of money in trying to get butts in the seats, and they've always had a great on-the-field product. And so I'm excited to see them move down to Orlando, where the football side is a little more open, especially the indoor game. And it allows us. We're developing that southeast. We've got a team in Jacksonville. We've got a team in Orlando. We got multiple expansion there along that southeast. And it's just another solid franchise that allows us. And it's a major media market for us. And it's a warm environment. And I got to believe, when you have an opportunity to pick where you wanted to go, Orlando's probably number 1 on the list.
You're a great interview to segue into the next question, because there's a second time now that you brought up a word. I was going to bring it up next, and you brought up the word expansion. And I know that there's a number of markets around the country that would love to have an IFL team. Where do you and the other owners stand on expansion? Are there a lot of interested markets, and is there a timetable and a plan for expansion?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're always looking for good partners and good places. There's four things we look for. We look for, qualified ownership group, and that standard continues to rise. We look at geographical location. Do they fit in where we're trying to develop? We look for arena relationship. A lot like them going to from Boston down to Orlando. I mean, what a step up in arenas. And then operators. Who's running this thing? This is a business that is so different than your typical businesses, and it takes people with experience to help guide that ship. And so those are the four things we look for: expansion. Our end goal is 24, and I anticipate we'll be there in the next 3 to 5 years. But right now we're at 14, and we've got a 15th one that we're kind of excited that we're going to get a chance to announce here sooner than later.
Oh, come on! You could tell me. Come on.
And then we've got to say that Southeast is a focus of ours that we're looking forward to some more announcements down the road.
Awesome. Todd, thank you so much. I cannot again describe how excited I am to be a part of the league this year. And I look at some of the names on that broadcast list, and I see Ari Wolf's name and Brent Stover and Sean King and some of the Yahoo people, Jason Fitz, Nate Tice, and Caroline Fenton. And for me to be in among those names, I'm very excited. Obviously, the sport means a lot to me, so I can't wait to see you in person and get underway in March.
Hey, Peter, looking forward to hearing you. Looking forward to meeting you, and appreciate you guys covering our sport.
Awesome. Todd Tryon, the commissioner of the Indoor Football League. It kicks off the 2026 season on March 14th. I got a couple of games in Orlando in April, I think, is what the schedule looks like right now. So I'm really pumped up. And listen, people who have followed me and know me know how much that sport means to me, and to be back involved with it from a broadcast standpoint this year is going to be really, really cool. When we come back on the show, lots more to do. We've got the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We've got, what do we've got? We've got what's hot at ticketbash.com. We're going to tell you about some upcoming shows. We have the Coaches Collectibles item of the week that's going to come up, and during the break I'm going to throw this football at Tony and see if he can catch it. We'll come back with more Sports Bash right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,600 families, raising over $44 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $7,100 each. And your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 84 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyWyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. Again, we thank IFL Commissioner Todd Tryon for joining us here on the show in the last segment. I love this ball, but I know that this one is now going to be obsolete because it's the Massachusetts Pirates and it's got their Massachusetts sponsor on it, which we didn't want to show. But I'm excited to be a part of indoor football and actually an indoor football league that's actually going to play. So I couldn't say it when the commissioner was on the air, but it's funny because like I've been sharing the news with some people, not everyone, and everyone's like, "Is that a new league?" And I'm like, "No, this league's been around since 2009." And oh, really? I'm like, "Yeah, this league they actually play. They have towels, they have uniforms, they have all the things that you need for a league to start up, right?" So, but I'm being bad. But yes, the IFL, the Indoor Football League, look for the season to start in March, and excited to be part of the broadcast team. And hopefully I didn't get in trouble for talking about pending litigation there. What's hot? And by the way, and I said this on Boomer and Geo this morning, please stay tuned for some news that could be coming out about that pending litigation. There could be some news very soon. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What's hot at Ticketbash.com? Tonight at the Garden, I mentioned it before in the update, St. John's hosting Seton Hall. Looking forward to that Keegan Bradley bobblehead doll tonight. Tomorrow night, the Knicks host the Nets at the Garden. On Friday night, the Nets host the Celtics. On Saturday afternoon, the Islanders are back home to host the Buffalo Sabres. That's a Saturday afternoon game, and I can tell you, if you're planning on going to that game on Saturday, the Saturday afternoon games at UBS Arena have been packed. The parking lots get packed. So if I were you, and I don't have a parking pass for Saturday, I'm saying I don't have a parking pass, but if you have tickets and you don't have a parking pass, I highly recommend Saturday afternoon taking the train. People who, I will talk till I'm blue in the face, and people who are just stubborn, that just think about what it was like the old days at the Coliseum, just driving your car up to the Coliseum and going in. It's a different ball game now. If you don't have a parking pass, it's extremely difficult to park your car. Take the train. I love taking the train to UBS Arena. And most people who I talk to agree. It's very, very convenient. And especially with what kind of crowd is going to be there on Saturday, with the Islanders playing well, and I'm sure it's going to be a full house on Saturday. Just if you're going to take one piece of advice from Peter Schwartz, you don't have a parking pass, what do you do, Tony?
Take the train.
Take the train. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to bother you while you're having lunch. Upcoming shows and concerts. Shane Gillis is at Madison Square Garden Thursday and Friday, again on January 24th. Rascal Flatts will be at UBS Arena on January 29th. The Harlem Globetrotters will be at Barclays Center on February 15th. Tony, you a big fan of the Harlem Globetrotters? You ever go see them?
I have seen them, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I went as a kid a lot, and I think they're still very, very entertaining.
Yes, they are.
Hoping to get, I think they're coming to UBS Arena at some point, too. WWE Monday Night Raw back at Madison Square Garden on March 30th. Ticketbash.com is the best site to go to for NFL playoff tickets and Super Bowl packages. You can use code HOLIDAY15 for a limited time for 15% off your order. Get the best seats at the best prices with no service fees at Ticketbash.com. It is now time for the Sports Bash Media Poll Question of the Day. It is brought to you by our good friends at the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash. Get a free dessert with your meal. And the Embassy Diner got a little bit more bang for their buck from me today because I got them a little plug on Boomer and Geo this morning, which was very, very nice to slide in when Food was up for discussion this morning, so I was asked about my favorite places to eat and brought up the Embassy Diner and brought up that Mediterranean panini that they have there, which is absolutely to die for. In fact, again, just take what you want with my advice. But if you get one of those paninis, it's a giant panini. You'll have for that meal, and you'll take home the other half of it for the next meal. That's how big the portions are at the Embassy Diner. We post a new poll question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. We didn't really get into this during the monologue, but obviously there's been some reports that Cody Bellinger is going to make his decision very, very soon. Could be today, could be tomorrow, very soon. So I wanted to get that poll question in, and I posted it early this morning. And the two main choices are basically split. Who do you think he's going to sign with? Yankees, Mets, or other? Comment below. And last time I looked, it was neck and neck, Yankees and Mets, with the percentages, and a couple of people voted other. One person said Dodgers. I think he's going to sign still with the Yankees. I still feel that way. I think all this rhetoric of a 7-year deal that Scott Boras wants is just that rhetoric. So I still think he's going to sign with the Yankees. The Mets have been linked to him as well. Tony, do you have any confidence that he could sign with the Mets?
No.
You agree that he'll sign with the Yankees?
I think if you asked me this maybe a month ago, I would have said Mets. But I think he's looking at it like everybody else. They don't know what the Mets are doing. He wants no part of it.
Right, and then here's the other thing too, is that the Yankees don't want to be part of a bidding war. They got burned with other players, whether it's Juan Soto with the Mets, and there were other players that they would get into a bidding war with. And the Yankees, look, they've offered him, I guess, 7 years, $155 million. They're drawing a line in the sand saying, look, we've given you a fair offer. You enjoyed playing here in the Bronx. Take it or leave it. We're not giving you another dime. And I like, as much as I would love to see the Yankees go out and get everybody, I think that's probably a smart business plan.
He's not worth more than that.
No.
I like him, but he's not worth more than that. That is a fair deal. I think maybe he's using the Mets to drive the Yankees up to that price. Maybe.
Oh, and vice versa, trying to use the Yankees to drive up the price, because Boras saw what he was able to do with Juan Soto.
Right.
And basically had the Yankees stretching out as much as they wanted to go to. And I like Cody Bellinger also, but I wouldn't break the bank for him too.
Right. Especially
when you have Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones. And if they don't work out, you can always get somebody else next year when there's no baseball next year because of all the. You looked at me like, don't you follow the news?
No, you're right.
There's not going to be baseball next year. Get a good look at it this year, and because if the players are going to dig in, they do not want a salary cap. The owners want a salary cap. This is going to be this might be the worst baseball work stoppage. They could lose 2 seasons on this too.
You think?
Oh yeah. Tony, this is going to be and I'm not trying to say it to be funny or to get clicks or anything like that. Like, there is legitimate concern we could be missing 2 major league seasons. Because if the owners are that hell-bent on a salary cap, the players do not want it. So get used to minor league baseball next year, definitely next year, because you're going to get a healthy dose of minor league. I think the Long Island Ducks will probably set an attendance record next year.
Yes, absolutely.
The Cyclones, too, and the other teams in the area. Because this is going to be, when you talk about, negotiating and a labor problem, I mean, this may be unique to anything you have ever seen before, whether it's in sports or any other business. This is going to be a major, major problem. So get your games in this year, because I would be shocked if we had a season next year. And again, I'm not trying to be, no shock value to that whatsoever. It's time for the Coaches Collectibles item of the week. We usually have a sports item. But our good friend Dom said, let's change things up a little bit. And how great is this? What a great actor Chaz Palminteri is. I mean, he's been in a million things. What an iconic actor. And he recently did a signing for Coaches Collectibles, and you see a picture of him signing the pictures as well. So that's the item of the week, a Chaz Palminteri signed photo. Coaches Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at www.coachescollectiblesny.com, and make sure you use the code SPORTSBASH to get a free shipping on all of your orders. And we thank Dom and everybody at Coaches Collectibles for signing on to continue to be a sponsor here of Sports Bash for the foreseeable future. So it's always great to have great partners here on the show, and we have a great one in Coaches Collectibles, and we've had tremendous access to his live public autograph events, getting to talk to players and be there and help them with social media. So we look forward to a continued great partnership with everybody at Coaches Collectibles, Dom, and all of his staff. It's Conference Championship weekend in the NFL coming up this week. So I thought we need to talk about the games this coming Thursday. And she has been a repeat guest on the show before. So we love repeat guests here on the show. That means I didn't piss them off to scare them away. So we will welcome to the show on Thursday from NFL Media, their senior national columnist, Judy Battista. You see her all over NFL Network as one of the insiders, and you read her great stuff on NFL.com. And I sent her a text the other day to invite her to come on the show, and quickly said, absolutely. You know, obviously this is a busy week for everybody in the NFL with the conference championships. And I thought I would be a little funny in the text message. I said, by the way, I promise on this episode when you're on, I will not be coughing as much as I did the last time, because if you remember that last time that she was on the show and I brought her on to introduce her at the beginning, I had one of those massive, because I had that 100-day cough at that time, whatever, that's what my doctor called it, a 100-day cough. Sometimes it felt like it was a little longer than that, but I had this major coughing explosion when she was coming on the show that day. So I'm like, I think we have to have a much more pleasant interview this time. So now that everything is okay, we will welcome Judy Battista. We'll talk to her about John Harbaugh and all the Jets Michigas and the conference championships this weekend. And we should have some good games this weekend. And obviously with the Patriots and the Broncos for the AFC Championship, I mean, poor Bo Nix and the Broncos. I mean, they win the game. They're going to host the AFC Championship game, and then we find out that Bo Nix broke his ankle on the second to last play of overtime. Just absolutely brutal. And then in the NFC Championship game, and this will be, I think this will be a great game as well. The Rams come in with a little mojo behind them, but the Seattle Seahawks with Sam Darnold, Jets former quarterback. It's a step away from going to the Super Bowl. I want to kill myself. Sam Darnold seen ghosts, but seen ghosts of Super Bowl teams in the past now. But yeah, Sam Darnold and the Seahawks against the Rams. I think that'll be, like, the Rams annihilated the 49ers over the weekend in the divisional playoff. I don't think they'll be able to do that to the Rams. I still think the Seahawks are going to win that game. But we'll talk more about official predictions on Thursday with Judy. And then next week, as we'll have a bye week in between the conference championships and the Super Bowl, and you know how we love to talk music here on the show from every now and then, especially when it has a tie to Billy Joel. So next Tuesday here on the show, and he was a great friend of Tony's, and hopefully he'll become a good friend of ours and this show, but our guest is going to be David Clark, who is a Billy Joel tribute performer. He will team with Elton John tribute performer Bill Connors for the second annual Piano Men Yellow Brick Joel tribute concert a week from this Friday, January 30th at Westbury Music Fair. And by the way, an unsolicited plug, what a great place to see a show. If you've never seen a concert at Westbury Music Fair, it's a phenomenal place to see a concert. So that's going to be on Tuesday of next week. David Clark will be with us via Zoom. Hopefully he'll play a little music for us here on the show via Zoom. We'll talk to him about that. And that's going to be a great concert next Friday, January 30th at Westbury Music Fair. I think that covers everything, right? We had a great show. We talked a lot about John Harbaugh. We had the great guest with Todd Tryon, and it's always nice to get Tony's 2 cents in on a few things. So I think that does it. Did I check all the boxes? I think I did. That will do it for this edition. What was that? Whoa! What was that?
Surprised.
Why are you surprised?
You came in a little early this time.
A little early, but I'm trying to give you back some minutes because sometimes I've gone over a little bit.
I'm just impressed.
That's why we just sit here and yap for a few minutes
just
about nothing.
Stare into the camera for the last 4 minutes.
I have 3 more minutes of time. I'm sorry. I'm a little loopy today. It's been a long day.
I hear you.
It's been a long day.
Understood.
But that'll do it. Really, that'll do it. I got to get ready to go into the city of the St. John's game. So that'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Special thanks to my guest, IFL Commissioner Todd Tryon. We thank him for joining us here on the show. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governors. Thanks to our social media coordinator, Leanne Burgess. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Coaches Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. Sports Bash is back on Thursday at 1 o'clock with another great show. Have a great